Welcome to another episode of the Meal Prep Monday podcast. I'm your host and founder of Prep Dish, Allison Schaaf. Today, I'm talking about variety in meal planning and giving you 7 specific areas where you can look for variety when planning out your meals. Before diving into the episode, I wanted to take a chance to give a quick listen to Miranda from Virginia, who tried Prep Dish. She did our 2-week free trial, and here's what she had to say. She said, "Thank you for the opportunity to try your service at no cost for 14 days. It has honestly been a game changer for my family. We are eating healthier meals, spending less money on groceries, and spending less time on meal prep, dishes, etc. I'm so grateful for your service and look forward to being a paid subscriber. Thank you for making this wonderful service available to busy families." Thank you, Miranda, for sharing. And if you want to try out the same 2-week free trial that she tried, you can head to prepdish.com/MPM. See if the meal plans are a fit for you. Again, that's prepdish.com/MPM, which is also linked in our show notes. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about variety. This is something that comes up a lot, and I know there's a lot of different ways you can look at variety when it comes to meals. And I just thought it might be fun if someone's looking for some inspiration on how to find variety in planning out their meals, some different areas you can look in terms of mixing things up and to find that variety. And I have 7 different areas here. So I'm going to go through 7 different kind of lenses. I almost want to think it's like lenses that you can look at your meals and how to change things up. So number 1 is seasonally. And there's going to be some overlap in some of these, but I really like the seasonal lens of like, okay, I can add variety depending on the season. So for example, in the winter, I'm going to do a lot more soups and stews and chilies. And in the summer, I'm going to do more grilling and maybe actually have like, a salad like as a meal. And even the ingredients I will change up depending on, what's available seasonally. So, a lot of fresh tomatoes from the garden or the farmer's market when those are in season, and that's going to be different. In the winter, I might use some pomegranates because those are in season at that time of year. So using the seasons to help you find variety is a great place to start. Number 2 is to look at the protein option. So if you feel like you are in a rut of always having chicken, then, maybe look and see if there's a different protein you can use. I've noticed grocery stores now, like some of the grocery stores even have ground venison or, there's ground bison available, or even just different cuts of meat, finding a different cut of a steak or a roast or something like that. If you have the option to go to a farmer's market, there's often a lot of different varieties of proteins and cuts that you may not find in your local supermarket. Although I would say, look through your supermarket, go to the fish counter, see if there's something you haven't tried. That can just be an easy way to mix things up. And even if you are a Prep Dish subscriber, and you're tired of, say, ground turkey, then maybe you go and see what other ground meats are available at your store. Protein's one of those that I find in a recipe. It's usually pretty easy to make swaps. So, this would be a good way to kind of make the meal plan your own by swapping out the protein. Okay, when you're looking for variety, I often look at color. And there's a few reasons for this. One is that if you're looking for a variety of colors, you're automatically going to be encompassing a variety of nutrients. Because from a nutrition standpoint, a lot of the vegetables that are, say, like that deep shade of like purple or blue are going to have an overlap of nutrients that are not found in green vegetables or white vegetables. So making sure you have a variety of colors is going to keep you from having kind of boring meals and flavors, but also going to make sure that you have a wide variety of nutrients. So when you're looking to add variety, I think color is a really good place to start because that's just going to help you encompass this like big range of nutrients as well. Another fun way to add variety to meals is to look at the cuisines. Are there any cuisines that you're completely overlooking? Maybe you think, oh, I love Indian food, but it's complicated, or I love this kind of cuisine, but I just don't make it at home because I always maybe you always kind of tend to go towards Italian or Mexican or whatever it is. So looking at maybe, kind of a list of all the different cuisines out there and seeing if there's a few that you want to intentionally add into your repertoire or into your meal plans. This is something at Prep Dish that we definitely take a big picture view out when we're doing our meal plans to make sure there's a variety. Like, we have a Greek inspired dish and we have a Chinese dish, and just really making sure that the meal plans are encompassing a big variety of cuisines and pulling in different flavors in that way. So another thing to look at is texture. And this is something, especially with kids, I've become a lot more aware of, is making sure that kids have, I think it's a tendency, sometimes not even consciously, to do a lot more soft foods, especially with small kids. And that's actually a disservice to the child because kids like to have kind of that deep jaw stimulation where they're really chewing on, say, like a whole almond or raw carrot sticks. And that's something where I've sometimes tried to add in like some raw vegetables to our meals. So that way we are having crunchy and chewy and not just always soft. What are the different textures that are out there, and making sure that I represent all the different textures in my meals that I'm serving to the family. And this can include like an overlap with snacks and stuff too, but making sure that all the different textures are represented. Another place to find variety is in temperature. I tend to be more of a fan of, food served hot, but in the summer, especially here in Texas, when it can get really hot, having some cold foods. I love a chilled, like gazpacho, the chilled soups are really nice in the summer, and mixing up different temperatures can be a way to add variety and change things up. And then the last one is composition. So what I mean by this is looking at, how are you serving your foods? Is it always a protein, a vegetable, and a starch? Is it always like a mixed stir fry? And so not that any of them are kind of one to, none of them are superior, but I think just having a variety of like, okay, sometimes we have them all separated. Sometimes we do everything mixed together and like in the form of a soup or a bowl or something, but just kind of looking at the composition and is there something that you tend to always go for? And by mixing that up, could you add a lot more variety and make your meals feel a lot more new and fresh just in the way that they're being composed? Because I find sometimes there's like this fallback of like, oh, I always put it in a tortilla and make tacos, but I could also do a taco salad, or I could also do a casserole, or I do too many casseroles. So I'd like to have more, soups or, whatever it is, but just kind of looking at composition as a way to find some variety in your meals as well. So this is 7 different ways of where you can look to find variety. If you feel like you're getting into a meal planning rut and want some variety, these are different areas you might want to consider changing up. And if you're looking for someone else to do the meal plan for you, someone else to help with adding variety into your meals, I would encourage you to just try our 2-week free trial. It's prepdish.com/MPM. We take all of these 7 pieces into account when we are looking at our plans to really make sure that there is a variety in all the different areas so that you're not bored with your meals, keeps them fun, keeps things interesting, and hopefully keeps things easy first and foremost so that you are not worried about meals all day long. You just know that Prep Dish has you covered with a plan, a grocery list, meal prep instructions. That way mealtime is quick, easy, and you don't have to think about it. So that's prepdish.com/MPM. That is all I have for this week. If you are a longtime listener of the podcast and have not done a rating and review, I would so appreciate that. That just helps other people to find this podcast. You can also share this episode or any other relevant episodes with a friend. Again, just helps get the word out about our podcast and the work we're doing here at Prep Dish. That is all I have for this week. I will be back again next Monday with another episode.